you have this 5 grand pot, you don't want to gamble, I say look at some really strong alts and then decide which ones you want to get into.
Investors should be locking in and just be eyeing out what's coming out, what matches the current narrative, you know what I mean? And then just seeing where you can kind of do some value investment. I think that's what I would kind of look at. So altcoin space and maybe some old Dino token that kind of matches the current trend. I think that's what I would look at.
And RWAs did feature on Coinbase's list, and they featured on everyone else's like things to watch out for in 2026. I think it was CoinGecko and Coinbase.
The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Crypto flip.
In this week's episode, we'll be reflecting on Bitcoin's close in 2025 and seeing whether it was actually worth investing in crypto or not. And we also have to figure out what is next for crypto. Before we delve into those topics, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're listening on audio, don't forget to leave a review because it helps us create new episodes. So Bitcoin closed at $87,000, leaving us at a minus 6% for the whole year. So was it worth investing in crypto? That's what I want to hear from my co-hosts. What do you guys reckon?
I saw a post on Instagram from one of the coin sources I trust, CoinSource. Shout out to them. Anyway, they basically went through this whole exercise of if you invested the 1st of January last year, 2025, first day of the year, where would your 1 gram be now?
Oh, God.
And as we just described, Harris said Bitcoin was down 6%. I think it was 8% by the end of the year. So your 1 grand would have been 8% down. So you'd have lost $80. So you'd have been at 920. Silver, I think was up something like 50% on the year. Gold, I think was up something like 35%. Nvidia was up 40 odd percent. Various stocks and shares, I think regular S&P and stuff was, actually I can't remember that number, so I'm never going to say it. But generally, last year, if you invested in Bitcoin at the beginning of the year, like right now, you're feeling the struggle. So what I'm saying is, I don't reckon Bitcoin was a good investment at the start of the year at all.
Oh no!
And now I got kid on you. Deji, what do you reckon?
You know what, yeah? If this is a good exercise, and we have to ask these questions. And the reason why we have to ask this question is that it all depends on the market you invest in. If we're talking about specifically crypto itself, 8% down on your 1K investment is not the end of the world, I think, in my opinion. It really isn't. I think at the end of the day, it all depends on your risk appetite. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you are an investor, you didn't do well this year in crypto. But if you're a trader, you probably made bands. Because we had volatility. No. Hear me out. Here's what I'm saying, yeah. There are traders out there, like, for example, there's this Italian trader that I follow, Elise. He's doing his thing, man. I've seen his player now. He's doing his thing. This guy clears minimum 28, like 40 grand a month. You know what I mean? And he does obviously value investing, spot trading, but the majority of his bag is perp trading. But we know the success story of perp trading is what? 2%, 1% of them are successful in this space because what you always end up doing is overholding or being over greedy and not taking profit, and then you get wiped out. So I think talking from and we've said is, I think this has been a theme for the past couple of years, lads. We've said, if you're trading this space, ever since the ETF came in, ever since smart money came in, it seems like it's more of a trader's market than an investor's market. But I'll argue that it's both, actually, because for us, and then I know you guys as well are in on this, the best place we do our best investment is when it's bear market. We literally go ham. Like, we do a lot of value investing, a lot of bear market investing to make sure that all the gains, all the volatility that might happen during the bull market, all the ups and downs, it's all just noise to us at the end of the day. So I think if you're someone that's new to crypto, or you've been in crypto for a while, I don't think anyone can agree with this. The best time to be investing in crypto, the best time to be most aggressive is when you know it's bear market, no one's talking about it. You could just buy as much as you want and just relax. I mean, that's when I did most of my buying anyway. You know what I mean? The only little buying I've been doing has been little sparring here and there, trying to chase trade and that kind of stuff. So I think if you're investor, 2025 was not good. It was not, because compared to all this other stuff like the metals market, like gold, silver, they've all been doing their thing compared to Bitcoin, which has just been much of the way it's lagging this year. So investor, not very well. Traders, I think some traders did well. I wouldn't say all traders did well. I say 1% of all traders did well, and that's just a statistic, right? And,
bro,
you know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, right? But think about it this way, bro. This year, we had the most amount of liquidation events and the biggest liquidation events crypto's ever seen, bro. We had January, we had the Trump liquidation suck event in January, where the Trump coin killed the market. We have Wintermute killing every second of the market this year. I just think, bro,
market manipulation at
this year, we're talking super low numbers.
I hear your point, yeah, but I feel like, okay, so there's 3 massive liquidations that I can remember in 2025. So if you count those months as a red month, there's 9 other months in a year that traders should have been profitable or at least break even. So compare that portfolio to someone that's spot buying or investing buying, and then, like, I saw someone here, they literally had half a Bitcoin, they rotated into ETH wasn't performing, they rotated into SUI wasn't performing, and literally just, now they're stuck. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And that's the story of last year. Okay, bro, Bitcoin has done its gains, I'm going to rotate to this one, ETH underperforming, I'm going to rotate to SUI stop performing. It's just like you're stuck in a limbo. So I'm telling you, ever since the smart money came in, institutional money came in, it's been more of a trader's market, and you lot can agree with me. And I'm not saying everyone should start trading now, because I'm telling you, it's not the best way forward. It's not. Because you're going to get, you know what it is, yeah? The reason why I don't think everyone should be trading is because you're going to be tempted and sucked into doing perp trading, because you want to accelerate your growth, and they're going to get wiped out. So that's why I wouldn't say go now start doing trading. But if you're an investor, it wasn't a great year, especially only in crypto. I'm not going to talk about equities, because it's not my department. But yeah, Harris, what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? So I think that the last year in crypto, everyone can come to a consensus and say that it was probably one of the worst years that we've seen in recent times. Not because of the returns necessarily, but because of the way that the game suddenly shifted. And if you were thinking in the past, the past paradigm, the past way that things were going before, you were kind of caught with your pants down and not really realizing what had happened until it was too late. So, people were focusing more so on fundamentals, on, looking at tokenomics, things like that. But these things have now sort of gone out of the window, at least temporarily. But moving forward, what I want to know is, if somebody has $5,000, what's the easiest way for them to grow that into, say, $50,000 without gambling on meme coins or prediction markets?
Hey, the job against prediction market, bro. I see people making bands in that, bro.
Might as well go Vegas.
Literally.
It's Vegas right in front of your laptop, bro. That's what it is. Vegas come to you, so you go to Vegas. Because it's going to cost you to get to Vegas anyway. That's half your portfolio there already. So you can have Vegas on your terminal. Why not? But anyway, no, I'm guessing.
Not financial advice, but these are the type of things that people should be thinking about in the crypto market this year. Yeah, you can have I'm going to have my main bag in Bitcoin that I don't want to touch for like 5 years. But you have this $5,000 pot, you don't want to gamble. I say, look at some really strong alts and listen to the podcast, and then decide which ones you want to get into. In past cycles, so 2018, we saw infrastructure and ICO hype that completely collapsed. So we saw things like Neo go out of fashion. We saw EOS go out of fashion. We saw a bunch of L1s go out of fashion in 2018. 2022, we saw DeFi, and we saw as Harris loved to say, the JPEG clowns fall off a cliff, and further L1s got crushed. So 2026, I reckon the things that are going to do extremely terrible. So we're looking for things that are outside of these categories. There's a lot of this AI for AI's sake. And Yeah, as someone that invested in virtual and sold it all at a massive loss, I reckon platforms like virtual, AI XBT, most of the AI for AI's sake projects will die. I think meme coins are going to be super weak this year. And bro, if I'm wrong, cool, call me out, hit me up. But I don't reckon I'm wrong, but I reckon meme coins are going to be completely dead this year. There won't be anything nice about meme coins to jump into. And it's just your boilerplate regular L2s that nobody really cares about. I think they're going to die horrible deaths. So realistically, you're either looking for strong L1s that can do well, and I'm thinking of things like Hyperliquid potentially. I'm not thinking Ethereum is going to do extremely well, but Ethereum is probably poised to like maintain a decent ground this year. I haven't done the deep research though, so someone else can go and do that. But yeah, potentially things like Hype, things like maybe even things like Binance, unless there's some huge regulatory hit. But yeah, you just have to be selective with your altcoins for this year, and you can make bank. And how you be selective is you jump in and you do all the research that you can, and you just based on historical facts. Has this thing done well in post year plus 2 halving years? Is there anything negative around this coin? Is there any negative news? That's a daily thing, and I have to keep checking that, or weekly. And yeah, and I reckon, yeah, we'll just see how that goes. And keep in mind that the reason why this year, well, 2025 was different to every other year is because of institutional investment. Some of these new L1s or L2s will start getting ETFs this year, and so money will start flowing into those ETFs, into those projects. So those projects can also go up in value. But yeah, I reckon it's hard to say which coins will do well at this moment in time, but I reckon you just have to chase momentum. And right now, nothing is momentumly trending upwards, but that is what will happen. There'll be 5 or 6, maybe 10 alts that do well throughout the course of the year, but they will probably outperform Bitcoin, because Bitcoin I can only see slowly grinding downwards.
Nah, you're right. I mean, you know what it is? If we get capitulation below, let's say, 73K, I'll put low something on Bitcoin, low something, low 5-10 bands. But not like you've hit it like spot on. I feel like at this point we need to be looking at value investing, because we are close to the end of the cycle. Yes, we still believe in the 4-year cycle. I'm sorry, lads, we still believe in it. You know what I mean? Give me your evidence. Jump in the comment section, tell me why you don't believe in the 4-year cycle anymore, because I would love to hear them and destroy your theory. But that's different another day. But yeah, I mean, I think now we need to be looking at some value investing, and I think the best place to probably get that is some blue chip altcoins. For some reason I still have faith in Sui. Even though my faith hasn't been played out yet, I have some faith in them. Faith in ETH, because it's the grandfather of the space, or should I say grandchild of the space next to Bitcoin. You look out online, people are saying, yeah, 2026 is going to be a great year for crypto, blah, blah, blah. I practically don't see that. I don't see that. Based on the fact that ETF, literally, their retort to the question is ETF. I'm like, okay, ETF, but ETF, they say, I think right now there's probably more outgoing in ETF volume than incoming. Putting that to the side, at the end of the day, I just feel like at this point in this cycle, it's too late to bet on Bitcoin. You want to look for blue chip things that are doing well. Like, I think Chainlink is pretty undervalued. I see Filecoin is like almost sub $1, fam. Obviously, it's rebounding since though. Like, things like those legacy tokens, I think, can be hit. And I think another thing that's probably, and I think, every year there's this one token that comes out and does a massive numbers, or even the old project that picks up because of old narrative. And I think one thing that could pick up based on the new narrative is prediction market, which obviously has been getting a lot of buzz, because of the likes of Polymarket, Cowshe, you know what I mean? And I feel like there are prediction market based totem projects in this crypto space, like Ogre, like GNO, Gnosis, that are pretty doing okay, that could pick up if that, that volume really comes. So I'll keep an eye on those things. And then, like last year, Virtus came out of nowhere and just did a mad number. And I think we shouldn't, obviously it's not financial advice, but I think investors should be locking in and just be eyeing out what's coming out, what matched the current narrative. You know what I mean? And then just seeing where you can kind of do some value investment. I think that's what I would kind of look at. So altcoin space and maybe some old Dino token that kind of matches the current trend. I think that's what I would look at.
At this point in time, there isn't actually a clear formulaic way to flip 5,000 into 50,000. Now, there's multiple ways you can do it, but I'm just saying it's not as clear as it has been in the past, simply because there isn't really a golden narrative that we have at the moment that's actually printing. That being said, I think that we're going to move away from meme coins. I think meme coins are still going to be around in 2020.
Meme coins is dead. Meme coins are dead. NFTs are dead. Just my opinion.
NFTs are of course dead, but I think meme coins are still going to be around. Not in the same way, but I think if you dig deep in the trenches, then yeah, you'll probably find that 10x. But I think the level of risk that you have to take to make that work is probably not worth it. So I wouldn't really be looking there. Where else? I think that there will be some other narratives that we haven't actually seen come to fruition yet that will probably be the ones that will take us from a 5 or from 5K to about 50,000, which is about 10x. So yeah, waiting for the new narratives to emerge, riding a wave, being early. So really being in the trenches, understanding what's happening, being on X, listening to this podcast, of course, finding out what these new narratives are and getting in early is, I think, where that real alpha is. Outside of that, I think you're going to be, caught gambling in different arenas, which you don't really want to be doing because, it's not the wisest thing.
No, I was gonna say, I think our viewers will be interested in, they want to know this. But in your opinion, man, I think obviously it's quite, some of it's obvious, but maybe we need to do more research. What is the kind of the rising trend or the current trend that you think we should really pay attention to in 2026? Because obviously prediction market, but I think there's more than just prediction market. Obviously prediction market is the top of it's criminal crop and everyone's talking about it. But in your opinion, what other trend are you seeing, are you spotting so far?
I think prediction market is the biggest obvious one. I think, seeing Anthony Joshua knock out Jake Paul, and then pop on a poly market chain 50 minutes after was a big deal for them. And Kelce is getting some residual increase in volume because it's not poly market and it's in the same field. Outside of that, bro, I think we've gone through Coinbase's top picks for next year. Last episode we also talk about things that could flip the market, could surface in the market. But if I'm honest, something totally left that I think is going to potentially do really well this year, based on my research that crazy stuff that I've been doing in personal life outside of crypto, is so on January the 12th there's going to be this auction, and the auction is going to be for Jake Paul's Illustrator Pikachu, which is a Pokemon card, trading card game. Bro, it's gonna sell for
Jake
5
or Logan Paul.
It's gonna probably sell for 7 million. The one that didn't get knocked out, I think it's Jake.
The one that didn't get knocked out is Logan. I think he's the one who's more into Pokemon.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, Logan. Yeah,
Logan.
Yeah.
I don't follow that man too hard. Anyway, so Logan Paul's selling this Pokemon, one of the rarest Pikachu Pokemon cards, PSA 10, mint condition, amazing. I reckon, that is going to trigger some crazy-ish going on in the market this year. And I reckon people that are in crypto and they're going to be looking for their next fix of how they can gamble are probably going to start rolling in to buying packs of cards. And it might not just be Pokemon cards. It could be all of the anime cards.
So NFTs is back.
Nah, because it's not NFT. Talking physical cards.
Collectibles.
I'm talking about collectibles. Because, bro, if you really think,
I see. But what crypto's doing collectible cards then? I want to know.
That's the thing. In terms of what crypto is actually doing well with collectible cards, it's probably none of them. There was this crypto that I spoke
It's been
about.
a couple of.
When there's an odd one or two here.
Nah, but there's a few of them. There's a few of them.
Yeah.
But the category that they're classed under is real world assets, because technically a collectible is a real world asset. And RWAs did feature on Coinbase's list, and they featured on everyone else's things to watch out for in 2026. I think it was CoinGecko and Coinbase. So potentially, I just see this whole sector doing better than people think. Potentially riding the wave of what happens in January. Because, bro, in my head, yeah, you might remember Beeple, the NFT sale. That sold for 68 million, yeah? And it would have been more, but Christie's couldn't handle the volume. They couldn't handle the volume. And that triggered a crazy spark in the NFT world, bro. People were buying JPEGs like their life depended on it. Man, them were selling their wives and their children to go and buy some JPEGs, bro. And I reckon once the sale goes through and it starts getting more popularity, people will be like, rah, like, I didn't make any money on crypto last year. You're telling me that people are buying boxes of Pokemon cards and making $5,000, making $4,000. I'm going to gamble on that. So yeah, honestly, I reckon, bro, it's because I've been in the trenches of this over the last week, for 2 weeks, bro. I'm telling you, it's the same mentality of as man them going to prediction markets and betting, or man them going to the meme coin casino and betting, bro. I'm telling you, it's the same mentality, bro. Like, all you might need to do is look at it for like 20 minutes and you'd be like, spot on. Because it's easy to spot coming from the crypto world, and you're looking at it, you're like, rah, these men are genuinely just degens. They're just degens, bro. They're Pokemon nerdy degens, bro. So, yeah, I reckon RWA will do significantly better than people think as an asset class. And am I gonna back it? Yeah, why not, bro? I'll back it. If there's a token, and I'll obviously, as soon as I find that token, I'll be on this podcast telling you about it and doing a deep dive into it. But I reckon there will be an RWA token that's going to do exceptionally well this year.
Yeah, I was going to say RWA as well. Not even from the sort of collectible standpoint, but I just think RWA as a whole has a lot more room to run. Like, we've seen some success within like the property sphere, in terms of commercial and stuff like that. I've seen a few tokens do well there. But I think as an asset class, I think it hasn't really been like the front narrative. When RWA ran, it was running alongside like AI and, you know, meme coins and things like that. And those were the major narratives at the time. So yes, it did like rise, but it wasn't like the dominant sector that was rising at the time. So I think that RWA, I agree with that, is going to be one of those tokens or one of those categories or sectors that we see and just going to potentially take off. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see the different types of either collectibles or things that get tokenized. What I want to see in RWA is not just, because there's obvious things like, oh yeah, I'm going to tokenize this real estate project and all this other stuff, and that's cool. And obviously it's backed by something real and tangible. But I think the use case has to be interesting enough to capture people's imagination. It has to be, I think a lot of the RWA use cases are around things that are heavily regulated. So I think other things such as Pokemon cards, such as other types of collectibles that we may not be thinking about, may be the things that really explode their category. So I'm thinking less regulated RWA type projects may be the things that really pick up steam.
The RWA, if you really think about it, right, it's more than just, because I used to think RWA and then I instantly think properties, houses, real estate, commercial real estate, all that kind of stuff. And then when you're talking about collectible items, when you're talking about, you know what I mean, Logan Paul selling that will potentially be selling his stupid Pokemon card for 5 million, which is ridiculous, man. I mean, this is the reason why prediction market exists. Like, there's markets on this speculating how much it will go for. And I like, listen, we all gotta eat. So if it means you gotta trade in this market, hey, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I want to talk about the dark side of, you know, you guys are kind of, I think RWA would do well. I think there's something to keep an eye on, but I've been quite disappointed in how L1s have performed this year. And I think going into any cycle, one of my first principal play is like L1s, bank it, it's gonna do well. And L1s just haven't done that well this year. And it's a conundrum that I can't understand, because is it because of the lack of retail interest? Is it because, we have this other narrative that kind of overplaying in like meme coins? Like, I don't want to keep banging on the same drum, like meme coin really killed the market, that kind of stuff, but it kind of did, because the L1s have not done much yet. But what I would like to see, like he said, Iris, is like maybe a real tangible RWA project. I remember Flow was actually, I don't know if you remember Flow token, Flow blockchain, that's meant to be doing like RWA stuff. He tanked to like the volume dropped massively. It's like trading around at 2 cents. It's just, I think that was a hack. And then, it's just lost all volume. And then what I'm trying to say is I would like to see an L1 dedicated towards RWA. So I think whether it's built on Sui, Ethereum, whatever, I don't really care. But having a dedicated L1 that people can be like, cool, I'm going to go on this particular L1 blockchain and issue my RWA project or RWA token. And I think that's what's missing. And then make it fun, like, what I mean? Make it like something that can scale and obviously be here long term, not just a quick, I'm going to just spin off my own project on this L2, whatever. I think like you need a dedicated blockchain that will be here decades away from now. So I think that should be the play that people should be looking at in that space in the coming here. So I think if I see something like that, I think that's something that you definitely can't poo-poo. You have to obviously give it a good research and then look into it. So yeah, I think we're all in the same agreement. I think RWA should be interesting, and it's make or break for RWA, I think, because if it doesn't pop up this season, I mean, it will be a forgotten narrative come next cycle, because there will be other fresher, sexiest thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't let the institutional like prediction market overtakes it. I mean, we've been talking about RWA. I mean, there's so many institutional players in this space, so it should be possible, but this is it now. It's make or break for RWA, I think, in my opinion. So it's a universal consensus among us three that RWA should do it, but whether they can or not, that remains to be seen. So we'll see.
So yeah, I think that RWA has, we've spoken about RWA, but I think there's one other category which really intrigues me, and that's AI. And now we've seen AI in multiple forms when it comes to crypto. We've seen obviously AI, we've seen AI agents, we've seen AI memes, and I think there's a lot more that's going to happen because AI is only getting better. We've seen the advancements of AI and what it can do and the jobs that it's taking, and there's so many different ways. And now I'm even seeing people making like mini movies with AI, and it looks realistic. So I think having a subsection of AI, I think could be like, if there's a groundbreaking, like if there's AGI that comes through or something else which is really groundbreaking within AI, I think that might spark something off as well. But yeah, that's just another thing to keep an eye on. But with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.